As for the work of the G20, without any doubt, that is a success of the Indian presidency and personally Prime Minister Modi. Here you go.
Thank you very much for your remarks. It's been very informative. I'm Arvind Gupta, Vivekananda International Foundation, New Delhi. And thank you very much for positive remarks about India. My question to you is about the G20. The G20 declaration finally came out, and I think everybody appreciated that. And the G20 also has a certain reference to one Earth, one family, and one future, which I think ties up with the civilizational approach that you have been talking about. Just like Russia, your Russian civilization, and you are promoting a Russian civilizational approach, I think India is also calling itself or describing itself as a civilizational state. So I think there is a need for a greater dialogue between the civilizations, and instead of going through the route of clash of civilizations, which was very popular once upon a time in the Western world, but I think when an initiative comes from leaders like you and Prime Minister Modi, so this will help generate a dialogue amongst civilizations which will be positive and which might help in fleshing out the principles of international relations that you talked about. So my question to you is, what do you think of the G20 declaration, and what is your view about the future of G20? Thank you.
First of all, I would like to reconfirm what you have said with regard to the Indian civilization, the Russian civilization. That is exactly what I have mentioned in my introductory speech. India is the most ancient civilization. It is powerful, it is big, it has huge potential. As for Russia, it is also civilization. Over 190 ethnicities and nationalities live in Russia. Over 270 languages are spoken. Isn't that a civilization? As for India, it is multi-ethnic, multi-religious country. It is a huge country, and these are not the only world civilizations, and we need to establish this dialogue between all the civilizations, the balance of interest and the mechanisms to respect this balance. As for the work of the G20, without any doubt, that is a success of the Indian presidency and personally Prime Minister Modi. That is a success. And the Indian leadership was able to find and to achieve this balance, including in the declaration. Some kind of closed private groups hold no prospect. The balance is changing. In my view, what was the success of the G20 Indian presidency? Prime Minister Modi managed to depoliticize the decisions that were adopted at the G20, and that is the only right way, because G20 back in the day was created as a platform to discuss economic issues, not political ones. Politicization of the G20 work is the best way to eliminate it. And the Indian leadership managed to prevent that, and that is a success without any doubt. Some private groups are detrimental. This idea can hardly be challenged because the balance of power is changing. Listen, not so long ago, somebody was looking at the G7 meetings. What would happen next? The key economies of the globe are gathered together. What kind of decisions are they going to make? What would be the repercussions for global economy? BRICS, even before its expansion, the BRICS economy amounted to over 51% of the global GDP. Hence, the economy of G7 was less than 50%. And currently, BRICS expanded with new members, and the BRICS economy grew even more than the G7 economy. That is why of crucial importance is the real balance of power and capacities. And in this sense, open platforms are much better. They hold more promise. They are more valuable because they create conditions to seek a compromise and mutually acceptable solutions and decisions. If we talk about the results of the G20 summit, I would like to reiterate that is an unconditional success of Prime Minister Modi. President Putin, you have not attended the BRICS summit and G20. Don't you think that you are deprived of this opportunity? Well, these are the people who were deprived of social benefits. That's how we call these people, lishenцы. But we are self-sufficient, and we are following this path. Somebody was even deprived of civil rights. Indeed, but we are defending our rights, and we would ensure that. That's I'm confident of. Second, why do I need to create some problems for our friends during the organization of these events? We are adults, and we understand that if I come, some political campaigns will start, political shows. It would all be aimed again at undermining the summit. What for? We want the BRICS summit to be a success, as well as the G20 summit, and it all happened, and we're quite happy with that. And third, I have a lot of things to do in Russia, so you are not offended by the South African president. No, not at all. He's our friend, and he's not offended by me. He went to Russia twice. We had long conversations with him. There's no problem with that. I believe that BRICS was an excellent success. To be honest, I didn't expect such a